I'll be reading an excerpt from Facescarrer. Facescarrer. Facescarrer is an inversion of Scarface, that false pop cultural idol for Latino Americans. Wouldn't a Latino American rather be a face scarer than a Scarface? Someone who creates his own games, not just changes it? This futurist parable is about a genetically bred super warrior in a fascist, transhumanist world inhabited by universions, multiversions, barbarians, as in Barbie and Aryans, but the Huans and Varians, which ironically the Aryans are trying to be because they're a variation of all species, true multi biodiversity, are organometric descendants of a mythic species which they term humans, according to their dialogues with disembodied voices in dreams or fantasies. But they're repeating the basic Darwinian struggles in their strategizing of revolution. Should we wage violent or nonviolent resistance? Facescarrer is the Latino equivalent of those species. He's an anomaly because he has too much of a conscience to be a truly ruthless warrior, and he wants to change despite his fighting instincts. Despite believing in peace and in our highest intelligence nature, his inner conflict exposes the biases of elitist activists who are psychologically at war with themselves. This is not an attack on nonviolence, but a critique of the coded hypocrisies of activists who often operate within the constraints of privilege or compete in a hierarchy of victimhood or compete within a hierarchy of victimhood, i.e., I'm more oppressed than you, so I have more of a right to vent. So, this is a call for being an anti-us against them activist in an all-inclusive, soul-reclaiming revolution, using our diversity to unite, not divide, in this multiverse to be, which forms the setting of the story. Okay, here we go. So it's called this part is called Inner Light versus Outer Darkness. Peace challenges us more than warfare because it needs us to return its embrace while violence has a stranglehold over us. So peace challenges us more than warfare because it needs us to return its embrace while violence has a stranglehold over us. Peace threatens us, hence its more empowering implications as opposed to the disastrous consequences of the archaic ways of the upgraded barbarian. Paradoxically, warriors need to liberate peace activists, though the activists think it's the reverse. Facescarrer tried to be an activist, but everyone still compelled him to play his role. The Huans and Varians were still ruled by Darwinism, though their potential to assimilate each other's strengths in order to balance out the weaknesses was far greater. Facescarrer wasn't the biggest, strongest, fiercest warrior, but he was tough enough to be typecast by unawoken liberals. How can a gentle bobcat fraternize with spoiled lapdogs? Hence their love and adoration for furry critters like dogs and innocent things. For instance, they'd have meetings about how to strategize protests. He offered his alternative vision of super meditation and collective exorcism to help free the masses from even playing such games. getting at the root of struggles, but they ignored him. Again, reclaiming the visionary mind so we could dismantle the intergenerational psychological battlefield. He expressed how easy it was to groom warriors like himself, disrupt the intimate magnetism of bonding with potential kindreds with mutual violations of personal space and private property. It's a bit of a riddle, but that's the point. They never gave him a chance to explain himself, or they tried to. It's easier to insult a stranger, get in their face, than get close and personal. Who can free the inner authoritarian, even if it's establishing boundaries, not borders? But he gave out clues, like suggesting creating a bookstore with no agenda, titles like freer ways to be liberal, more liberal ways to be free, embracing our natural curiosity, as in cities, curiosity about different genders and races, and genders with no agenda, uh, acknowledging the contributions of different generations. So, you go to a bookstore and you have books that are always saying, well, conservatism wasn't so bad, the 1950s wasn't so bad, and there's always an agenda, but basically Facescarrer is like pitching out these titles like build upon our innate abilities, don't filter your compassion, so hopefully you get the point. But they said that's not practical, mocking his unique perspectives and dialogue. Darwinism doesn't just preach survival of the fittest and might is right. It depends how the privileged use their fleeting powers. The strong use force, but the weak use guilt. Even though Facescarrer said that the strong aren't that strong and the weak aren't that weak, that's another of his insights. He noticed that the activists were short, chubby, soft, neither unattractive or attractive to him, just each conveying their unique power, brilliance, and the rest. He was no fat shamer, nor did he look down upon anyone weaker, though others thought he did because of his bald eagle expression, sharp features. Don't blame the golden brown eagle for having such a vast wingspan, but unawoken populace can still internalize institutional master-slave relations in varying forms. How can a guy like him be intelligent? Though he was frowned upon by more endowed gladiator warriors in the martial regions, ironically, there, New Sparta, the warrior New Spartas, he fit in less in glitzy cities which celebrated cute dogs, furry animals, kids, and there's a typo 9-8 within that, kids, and anything sweet and innocent, this liberal held. What are the implications of can't you trust his or her face, so honest, round, innocent? Isn't Rose so cute, humble? She'd never hurt a butterfly. Never mind that she hid her wounded self from the very macho men and malignant narcissists Facescarrer was trying to evolve from. He was trying to segregate himself from, those New Sparta. How she singled out and shamed her own male students in grade school for never listening and misbehaving, despite many of them doing nothing. Some of these minority boys were potential geniuses too, far brighter than the designated lily-white choir girls. Many of these boys became hooligans as if fulfilling social projections coded as prophecy, destiny, fate. Does Darwinian good require bad scapegoats? It's fair to critique systemic oppression by bullies, but individuals need to exercise what one internalizes as in lies. You become what you hate by earning your vindictive right to hate and scapegoat. This is why he offered his healing, restorative vision of getting in touch with empowering yet non-compromising passions, um, which your gender, culture, persona reflects. Since his world was ruled by futurist Darwinism, which was predetermined by predeterminism, the game was rigged against alternative warriors or even activists. He had to guard himself, not fight, to the death at least. He and other alt warriors had to hold the enemy off because he was considered a traitor, and he was monitored, and you know, so he was trusted by neither side completely. So he had to hold the enemy off so that the activists could reclaim their collective visions, rewriting the script. The activists had to humble themselves too and examine all domination impulses. Do you want privilege or a more inclusive, social coordinated world? This is why he fought our wars on the psychic level, so we can pioneer more playful challenges. He can fight, but not kill, no matter how badly he's attacked, no matter how great the odds. If it came to mortal combat, he should be the one to die. That's the agreement he made with his higher power. But he's too skilled to be bested like that. So we'll see. So when I said we'll see, I meant when I upload other chapters, hopefully. So, all right, thanks.